everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Township Talk. We're here with Springfield trustee Jeremy Caudill, and today we have a really exciting show for you. We have a community question coming up for our first segment, and yeah, let's get right into it.
Let's do it. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so this week when we posted on the Experience Springfield Township group, there were quite a few people that had some questions about what's going on with the flooding in Springfield. It looks like a lot of residents are having some issues with flooding. I mean, we've had a ton of rain, but still, you know, their yards are submerged in water. So can you give us like an update of what's going on with that and what the township's planning to do to, you know, help these residents?
Sure, no problem. I definitely feel their pain because, here this sits very low and we're pretty much always wet over here. And I think we had rain, I don't know, it seemed like every day for 10 days straight.
Yeah, we did.
So when that happens, I mean, you're going to have problems at places. But, I mean, there are so many different, since I've got in, this is one of the main questions that I need answered, because this is one of the reasons I ran for office, because I couldn't find the answers. For months I couldn't, and nobody wanted to answer them. So I got in there, and what I know now is there's all kinds of different entities involved.
Okay.
There's state roads, there's county roads, there's different bridges that mean stuff, there's township roads. So what I am trying to get done now, and we are going to get it done, it's like a standard operating procedure, an SOP. You know, I'm a military guy, so, and it's going to outline exactly, you know, what is to be done depending on, you know, where the problem's at. For instance, you know, I got calls continually for probably 3 days straight.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And a lot of the problems, like the one spot up here on Canton Road, right by Grace Cathedral Church. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the stream goes underneath Canton Road there, and people were sending me pictures of these trees that were just jammed up underneath there.
Okay,
and,
wow.
And it was causing the water, I mean, there was already a huge flow of water,
Yeah.
and it was causing it to back up, you know, so I was shooting everything over to the roads department. As you know, Ted, he's head of the roads department.
Yes.
And he's also our head administrator.
Okay.
And pretty much, you know, he's been in place for years and years. So he knows a lot of the procedures. It's just, I'm pushing Ted right now to we need something in writing, you know, so we could give to the residents of Springfield so they know exactly what to do. You know, if it's Springfield Township's responsibility, we need to have a plan of action where we immediately take care of it. I mean, I've met so many residents. This one great lady, she's over on Nichols Road. I mean, she was showing me how this water is rushing through a pipe. To me, it looks like the pipe is not big enough. And it's definitely a Springfield road. The water is rushing into this pipe, and it's backing up because there's so much water coming through. And then the stream that it's causing is eroding her garage, and you could actually see the footer and everything. And I mean, that is extremely important to get taken care of immediately. And I know since that's a stream, you know, that falls under all kinds of different government agencies, you know, the soil and water, the EPA. She's, you know, so I'm guiding her the right way, you know, and I let her know. I said, you know, that is your property. You know, you need to take action to protect your property. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, if somebody is in a position like that, and, you know, all these government agencies that's involved, listen, I will back you. You know, you got to do what you got to do to protect your property.
I mean, that's thousands upon thousands of dollars of damage to have your garage, you know.
Yeah, it's just, it's common sense.
Else that's in there.
Yes, it's common sense stuff. You got to protect your property, you know, even though they're telling you got to pull 50 permits and go through 10,000 different, you know, government agencies. you got to do what you got to do to protect it.
So basically you're saying still follow the laws and stuff, but we as a township need to come together and have a comprehensive plan together so citizens know where exactly they need to go in order to do what they have to do to protect themselves and their property.
Exactly. So when somebody calls, we can identify exactly, where the problem's at.
Yeah.
And, one of the big things that people don't realize is a lot of times it's actually with the house's problem. I hate to say that, but a lot of times these roots from these trees are getting, into there.
We have that problem.
Do you?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys?
we do.
All right. I mean,
$150 drain service every couple months to just, deal with that.
I know that problem also because, I've had rentals in the past and, I'm cutting out roots constantly. So that's something that people have to look at. It's so a lot of times it's the homeowner's actual maintenance kind of problem, but when it comes to like drains and stuff like that, that's something that this comprehensive plan, this SOP, will take care of. I mean, we'll be able to identify it immediately.
Yeah, see, that'll be great. And two, I actually worked with an insurance agent, shout out Isabella Gee, who was going through my homeowner's policy to see if we were covered for that type of thing. So that might be something that they want to look into.
Yeah,
too.
definitely.
So.
And like the lady over there on the road I was talking about, I mean, if her insurance company came out there and looked at that, I mean, they may even, cancel her policy. I mean, it was pretty serious over there. And this is just stuff that, if it's a township problem, we need on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main calls of government, I feel. You got to do the roads, the safety services, that's it. I'm just a basic kind of government person.
Well, yeah, and they're paying taxes for these services too, so their taxpayer dollars need to be working to help them.
Yes, and our roads department, they've always been on it. Every time we haven't been getting a lot of snow here lately, but I mean every time it looks bad out there. Our roads are usually 10 times better in Akron's roads.
Yeah.
They are on it, and we have plans to pave so many roads, every year. It's pretty interesting how Ted does that. And I would love to get Ted on one day to talk about the roads.
Yeah, that'd be great. We could have him on there. Now, with that being said, with the roads levy failing, does that kind of, what does that do to Springfield with that?
That does hurt it. I mean, there's money planned out for, I believe, another 8 months. But what that does is we have so many roads that we do in the township a year.
Okay.
And that will, take away from that unless, we pull it out of the general fund. And, that's hard to do,
There's a lot to it.
There is a lot to it. These budgets, I'm looking at these budgets, these government budgets, every week. And what I learned is the accounting for the government is very different than accounting for anybody else.
There's no QuickBooks for government.
Yeah, I mean,
accounting,
money goes into like a line item there, and you just can't pull it out.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to go through a budget committee, and I mean that's a learning curve that I've been taking on, and I actually. I'm loving learning this. It's actually a great experience for myself, and hopefully I could, make Springfield, thrive with it.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate all you're doing, and now with that being said, with this flooding issue, would you suggest that community members come to the meetings, explain their issues, and they kind of work with the township together, or should they submit them to someone directly through email or a phone call, or what works best?
Well, they've been reaching out to me quite a bit. I'm sure the other two trustees have also gotten some calls. What I usually do, I talk with them, and then I talk to Ted, our roads department guy, and then I have them come into the meeting, with their pictures, and we could see what's going on, and then we try to guide them in the right way currently. Okay. But it definitely helps when they come in, and there's been a number of people in the last 2 weeks that's come in and spoke with us, and we've been on it to get a lot of stuff resolved.
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand there's a lot of processes that have to be put in place, and it's not just, it doesn't operate as fast as a business. Government is
yes,
slow.
yes, it
So-
is, and it's just there's so many different entities involved.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like the county engineer, ODOT, Army Corps engineers, you name it, they're involved.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you learn, when you
Yeah.
become a homeowner, at least, or even a citizen of a community, that you get to see how it all works. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. And we actually have our first commercial to play before we get into our featured story on restoring the lake. So let's go ahead and move into that. Thank you, AFK Concrete and Stone, for supporting Township Talk. We appreciate you. And if anyone has any patio or concrete needs in this coming season, please be sure to give them a call. So, yeah, so I think now we're ready to dive into our feature story. So if we want to go ahead and do that. Okay, so one of the biggest issues right now for the community seems to be the use of Springfield Lake. We did a poll actually in the Springfield Township Bulletin to kind of see where people were at with the lake. We put, different answers to the question. They could say, I want it fixed, or I don't really care anymore, or there's a lake. So we had, I think it was over 200 votes, and the majority of people in the township want the lake fixed. So
That's great. I mean, Springfield Lake is one of the gems here of Springfield, and it should be, and that's one of how I look at it, it's one of our greatest assets.
Yeah, it really
that
is.
we need to definitely take care of. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are extremely passionate about the lake. So when I ran for office, I ran a lot, campaigning about the lake. And right away I dug into it, and I found some interesting stuff that I never would have thought.
Yeah. I mean, you've showed me, some of your research, and
Yeah.
there's a ton here, as you can see. So do you want to give, people a little synopsis about that before we?
Sure. I mean, I started off, I deal with a lot with the health departments and stuff.
Are we live? We're live.
All
Okay,
right,
sorry
woo-hoo.
about the interruption. The internet went down, but okay. So let's dive back into what you found out.
Okay, so I started off with the health department because I'm used to working with them on a number of different issues, and they actually referred me to their boss. It was Ryan Pruitt, and it was fascinating to me because I was thinking that Springfield was like, it was like had all the problems, and these other lakes, didn't have anything. And he act like, oh yeah, it's common. And I'm like, wow, that kind of took me,
By surprise,
by surprise for sure. I'm like, wow, okay, he act like it was no big deal at all. And so then I started going around and I asked him, I'm like, well, we have all these placards up there, what's it going to take to get these placards down, to get it, to people where they could go in, put your animals in there, and I asked him if there was any lakes around that has had this problem, and he said almost all of them.
Oh, well, yeah, that's surprising, right?
And I asked him if any of them was able to fix a problem, and he referred me to Chippewa Lake, and so I did some research there, and I know we're going to get into that a little bit, but yeah, they actually fixed a problem. I talked to people over there. That was great. And then, I called people at Goodyear, because what I understood is Goodyear owns the first 2 feet of the water in the lake.
That's crazy.
yeah,
I had no idea, and I've lived.
So I need to get into a little bit of the history of it. Let's see. So I got to hold everybody. There's a valve at the lake, and so Summit Lake, Springfield Lake, and Wingfoot Lake was all tied into Goodyear, and they have a valve at each of these lakes, and it used to cool their equipment. So they would open these valves, fluctuate the water in these lakes, and the stream would go down through Goodyear and cool their cooling plants and stuff. That's
interesting.
Yeah,
that's
is
really
very interesting. That was going on since early 1900s, and Goodyear actually bought the water rights. Let's see. Yeah, they bought the water rights from Akron Pure Water Company and Quaker Oats.
Quaker Oats, eh?
Yes, Quaker Oats. Yeah.
Who would have thought? Our little Springfield Lake,
Yeah, downtown Akron, the Quaker Oats buildings, they had their hands in it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very interesting. So they would go around and they would fluctuate the water by 2 feet, like each of them. So they would pull the water out of Springfield down 2 feet, and then they would go to the next one and fluctuate that, and then Springfield would fill back up, and by the time they would pull it out again. And they did this from early 1900 till right around 2007 is when they.
That is a long time to be doing that.
That's when they stopped doing that, right around that time is kind of when the problems started. Me personally, I feel that taking that water in and out of the lake that helped it. Got rid of some of that stale water.
You do that with Kim Tam, right?
Oh yeah, we do it here, and it's amazing here because every 6 to 10 days, all of the water that you see in here is new water. So that's,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. Why I've never known. That's why it's always a little, I don't want to say cold. It's perfect, refreshing artesian spring water. But
1.5 million gallons, right?
1.5 million gallons. But that's why it always feels a little, refreshing when you go in, especially like when you jump off the high dive. You could definitely feel that. That's where the spring is coming out, and it's coming out so fast. And I believe Springfield also has that. So that constantly refreshing that water definitely. I believe helped.
Makes a difference.
Yes, it makes a huge difference.
Well, I know Disney, supposedly the reason why they don't have mosquitoes on like Disney World property is because of how they did it. It's all moving water.
Yeah.
So, it keeps the bugs away and that sort of thing too. So it's pretty interesting. And I know in September, we actually on the Experience Springfield Township website, on the community blog, we did an article on the algae bloom and, kind of mentioned some different things that citizens can do to help prevent the runoff. Obviously, they can't solve the entire issue themselves, but they can, make an effort to change that with whatever fertilizer they're using. T2 Design actually offers, I guess it would be lake-friendly fertilizer if people, and sorry if I said that wrong, Taylor, but so they do different packages where people that are living next to these bodies of water, they can have this, and it's not going to cause damage to the lakes or streams, that sort of thing. So yeah. Well,
I have, there's some things here that, we could do long-term wise, and I know there's a group of people, like, I'm going to, call them out a little bit, but they have been a huge advocate for the lake. They've been doing their best to try to, get everything done here, and they've been a huge help. Janie, Michelle, and David. I met them from the very beginning that I was in, and we talked about how I could, I wanted to know how I could help because I know they've been into it for years.
Yeah.
And so they really knew a lot about it, and I learned a lot from them. Some of the long term, what we need to do retention ponds. I know that we're underway right now, and as you know, I love studies, right? Yeah, traffic studies. But we're doing a study right now on some retention ponds where we would get the biggest bang for the buck at. And these retention ponds, they would definitely help with the long-term runoff. Some other things I have here is we need to create some buffer zones with vegetation that helps filter the nutrients before it actually reaches the lake. And that seems like that would be a pretty easy thing to do. We need a lot of aeration, systems, maybe some windmills, and you have to get oxygen in there.
I think Dave Hofer from the school board mentioned that on the poll that we posted in the Springfield Bulletin, how that would help. So,
yeah, I have in here, and I don't know if this would be possible. I was hoping it could be. I actually wanted to take the level down quite a bit, and to identify, certain problem areas, because I've heard for so long that there's septics and everything going into the lake, and nobody could really identify it. But the people I spoke with, earlier I mentioned, they have a pretty good idea on what house is and where those problems are at, and that is something that the EPA, we need to, fire them up, get them motivated to go around and start doing some testing on these septic systems, because we gotta get that stuff stopped for the long term.
Yeah. And Michelle Moyers, who you were talking about, correct?
Yeah,
she's been really involved. Okay.
Yeah, she's really involved with all the aspects of the lake, and she's been around to Springfield for a while, and she's been a huge help.
Good. So if anyone has any questions directly, they can direct them to Michelle.
I'm sure she would. She would love to explain it. Yeah, she is definitely expert.
Nice. Okay, so I know you talked about how there was a lake that you were referred to called Chippewa Lake, and that's pretty close to us. It's in Medina County. So we actually did some digging at Experience Springfield Township, and we found an article on Akron Beacon Journal that kind of explains, their issue, what happened and what they did to fix it. So you viewers at home, you should be able to see this right now. Is it up? All right, awesome. So you guys can kind of comb through that and kind of see, what they did to fix the lake. But we also have a video that is, their short story of how they literally fixed the lake in 24 hours by using this one company.
Yeah, it's I've talked to them multiple times. It's blue-green algae. The guy I'm talking to, his name's Mike.
Okay.
And they're actually huge down in, they said that they are down in Florida in the Georgia area, just treating all these lakes. And and he's able, like, if they get on it like soon enough, like right around the next month or so, we'll be able to enjoy the lake this year.
That would be amazing.
So if they get on it, we could enjoy it, and then we gotta work on the long-term stuff that I spoke about. But let's get that thing up and rolling, man. Let's get it running now.
Well, we actually have a video that we're going to show real quick about the story of how they improved Chippewa Lake. So let's go ahead and roll that.
Toxic blue-green algae.
Toxic blue-green algae found in waters across the country is a concern for dog owners. Veterinarians are still advising people to be cautious of the potentially deadly algae.
I started coming out here many, many years ago and spent summers here since 1948. And I've been here ever since.
I'm a police officer by trade. I spent 30 years in the Ohio State Highway Patrol. This to me is a very special place.
We've lived in Chippewa, we've been a part of Chippewa for 32 years. We joined this sailing club where we are now 32 years ago. We were looking for a place for him to sail.
Yep.
People love to be here at Chippewa, and when the lake was not healthy, it made us not healthy. We were not happy.
So many people would come to us and say, so what are you going to do about the lake now? And it's like, where do we start,
And somebody one day said, well, the satellite spotted an algae bloom. What's an algae bloom? It's like, wow.
We're not talking about true algae when we talk about a problem for the most part. We're talking about a group of organisms that are commonly called blue-green algae but technically called cyanobacteria. And certainly it's a very prominent problem worldwide, and it seems to be increasing.
Once it's above 6 parts per billion, there's a warning on the lake to warn people if they're elderly or if they're sick, to stay out of the water. And then once it gets to 20 parts per billion, they shut the lake down. And what that means is that the beaches are closed. And
the only thing that we can do is alert the public, and there are certain public health warnings that we can post to let people know that toxin levels may be at an unsafe level.
We need to help the Park District find a solution to this problem.
I'm exactly where you stand in that aspect. Use as little as possible. Let's do preventive treatments. Agree. But at the end of the day, the sit and do nothing is not an option. And right now, when they face a spike of cyanobacterial bloom, that's awful.
Discovering blue-green technologies and recognizing what they can offer to the state of Ohio as well as to the U.S. and the rest of the world is simply phenomenal.
What's exciting about the potential for this product is that the product floats.
So you're basically using the natural movement of the water as your applicator. So you're just applying to the water and let the water do the mixing and dispersing for you.
It's not a product that you apply it and then it drops through the algae and it's no longer effective. It's a tool in your toolbox, but I'd say more like it's a weapon in the war against algae.
The lake is the community. It's in the name, Chippewa Lake. So without the lake, without access to the lake, the community loses quite a bit.
Blue-green is just, we're hoping to be our salvation.
So if we can come together and fix this problem, and they've provided us with a potential solution that we can employ ourselves, that's awesome.
The Lake Yard product from Blue Green Water Technologies will help people get back to that dream that they had of what lake life is all about. And I think you can't put a price on that.
I'm 75 years old. I've been out here probably 69 of the 70 summers, and I'm looking for more good summers out here.
Yeah, so they fixed the lake in 24 hours by using that product.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's exciting.
It's kind of like going to the doctor, give me a pill. I don't, sort of like that
prescription,
for the short term, for the long term, I have some other things I would really love to get done, like the retention ponds that we're doing studies on, and the vegetation, that you could put around the lake to absorb the nutrients.
But like you said, that takes time, and this is I think the way that it was referred to in one of the articles about it was it's a Band-Aid for a while, and it's not the forever fix. But I did see that since they used this in 2019, they haven't had a problem since.
I know, isn't that is
that's
very
crazy.
Cool, because I believe once that gets going, that good algae overtakes the bad, and it just keeps on going and going. Especially if you irrigate that, get some oxygen in there, it's going to be good.
Yeah. So if you read the articles, they talked about the Save the Lake Coalition, which we have a website we're going to bring up. So go ahead and tell me when it's live. Is it good? Okay. What they did is they had a group of citizens come together, in my understanding, and they formed this coalition, kind of like the Reclaim Sawyerwood coalition that they have going on over there. And what they did is, they worked together to get this solution implemented. I believe they got, different individuals that were already in the community to just work together. And I think they raised money and got grants and worked with political officials over there. And now I believe you said that there is funding already set aside for the lake?
When I got in office, I learned, they got some grant, and a lot of that money was for the lake. For a lot of it went to the trails. That's what I'm learning. But there should still be plenty of money in this grant to get this done.
Great.
Yeah, that is great.
Set up a meeting.
Yes, and so I'm looking forward to it, and I just want to let the community know we are setting up a meeting with the Blue Green Algae Company to come into our workshop. They might do it over Zoom, but they're going to explain to us everything that happens. We could ask as many questions as we want, but this is definitely, I think this is a good solution to being able to utilize our gem of Springfield again.
So can citizens show up to that meeting, that workshop, or is that closed?
Oh, no, I definitely want it open to the public. So
We can put it on our calendar, our community calendar too, and then,
the public definitely needs to know, because, there's a lot of people out in the public that, I don't know if they have misconceptions on, how they treat it. I know back in the day, they treated it one certain way, but they keep coming out with, they're innovating new ways to, come up with these problems and solve them.
Yeah.
So
technology in general.
Yeah. I mean, technology. So yeah, I encourage the public to, get as many questions as possible that you could think of, and yeah, come to the meeting, ask, if the community is behind it, I definitely would love to push it and go forward with it, and, actually, see people jumping in there again, having their dogs go in. That's kind of scary when there's placards up. We should have a take down the placard party afterwards,
That would be fantastic.
Bust them up or something. Yeah, I would love that.
I mean, do you think Springfield, individuals in Springfield would want to come together and form something similar to the Save the Lake Coalition, like Chippewa Lake?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of passionate people, and when there's passionate people, there's always different views. So
it can get messy sometimes.
Yeah,
yes.
it could get messy, but I encourage people just to try to have an open mind. Listen to other people's sides of it some, and let's just come up with something that is best for Springfield. And I think what's best for Springfield is we could utilize that.
Yeah, I think
like
everybody
that,
agrees.
Yeah, that Chippewa. I mean, it's so cool. Their sailboat stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that is awesome. I love that.
We actually have that website too, so if we can go ahead and pull that up for the public. Good, awesome.
Yeah, I mean there's so many things that we could utilize the lake with. I mean, it's countless. I mean, I love to see it happen. I remember, this big, I'm jumping in there, and one time I remember falling through the ice.
Oh boy.
One time, yeah, and I was
Please don't do that, guys.
And I was in elementary school. Yeah, I remember that. So I can't wait to get that up and rolling again.
I mean, yeah, at Chippewa Lake they have the sailing club. Kids from Springfield or the other schools around here could come and utilize that. And my great-great-grandfather founded, the Wheelan's bathhouse, the dance hall, the grocery store.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's cool. I didn't know
Springfield
that.
royalty, right? Is what my friends say. But
What
no,
is it,
seriously,
great?
my great-great-grandpa,
Wow.
Carl Wheeland. So if anybody wants to look that up, but seriously, he was one of the first entrepreneurs in Springfield Township in Sawyerwood, and he came and he utilized the lakefront, and it was this recreation spot. So I would love to get it back to that. I mean, obviously progressed into the future and that sort of thing, but it definitely is an asset to not just Springfield Township, but to the surrounding areas.
Could you imagine our Friday night concerts? I mean, could you imagine, I want to see 50 boats out there, just lined up everywhere. That'd be great. I mean, I would love to see that for the community.
And there's different companies that, if they could, utilize the lake, or their customers could utilize the lake, maybe they'll come here too, and that puts money in Springfield's pocket. People are going to eat at, different restaurants, getting gas, getting, all that different stuff. So it could help everybody.
Yep, called economic development.
Economic development, yes.
Yes, and I would love to see it, and I'm the voice for the people, and whatever the people want, I kind of know what I like, but it's not about what I like really.
Yeah.
It's about what the people want, so I'm going to do that.
Well, going back to that poll, there's 230 votes, and the majority of people want the lake.
That's good. That's good. Let's get that baby fixed.
Yeah, right. So yeah, is there time to open for a short Q&A? Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel
Take
free
one
to
or two. Yeah.
type them in.
Oh. why people are putting their questions in the chat. We do have some exciting news. The Springfield Community and Business Awards are coming up. You have until April 25th to vote. So you can go ahead and go on our website and vote for your local favorites. Jeremy, you are emceeing that event. I know I say that a lot, but I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I got MC, so I'll try to make it entertaining. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of great people on that list, so
yeah.
You know, I'm tickled for it. It's going to be a fun event, and yeah.
Some good stuff there, and Uncle Tito's is our main event sponsor. We are live streaming the event thanks to T2 Design. Thank you, T2 Design. So viewers at home can kind of watch and be a part of it, and should get the whole community involved.
That is what, next Saturday?
That is next Saturday, April 27th. Yep. So try to tune in around 6:45 p.m. is when the awards will be coming.
And that's pretty much open to the public, also, correct?
The main event is invite only. Like I said, Uncle Tito's is sponsoring the food and stuff like that, so we are going to kind of be conservative with that. However, people can still join on the live stream and participate that way. So
all right,
they still be involved.
Looking forward to it.
So if we don't have any questions, all right, well, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes for this week. And will you please let the public know when that meeting is coming up?
Yes, I definitely will. That's very important. Next Thursday, there's a big meeting also on the lake, and it's going to be held at
Lakemore side.
Yeah, okay. So the Boss Man Breakfast will not be on next week. I had it on my calendar, and I skipped it until yesterday. But, yeah, I'm going to be at this other meeting here in Lakemore in the morning. And then, and then I will definitely put it on the calendar, get it out there for everybody.
Okay, we'll have it on there too. We have a question.
Timothy Grinder says, why can't we get rid of sewage pipe on Lakemore side?
Why can't we get rid of sewage pipe on Lakemore side is the question from Timothy Grinder.
That's a great question. I don't want to say it's above my level at this moment, but that's something. A lot of people think that Springfield and Lakemore, we're the same community, but we're not. Lakemore is its own entity, and they have their own water system, sewer system. So, that's a reason why, we have this lake with Lakemore. So, we got to work hand in hand with those guys, and that's something that we're going to be, discussing. Great question for the mayor over there. I know that he'll see this, and I'm sure he'll address it.
Okay, perfect. And then I know you and I are working on an ebook about the lake, so stay tuned for that. That'll be our
first.
I've
never done an ebook. I'm ready for it.
It's gonna be great. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you watching Township Talk. If you do have any questions that you would like featured on our community questions segment, please put those in the Experience Springfield Township group. We're signing off. So.
All right, guys. See you.
Bye.